welcome to the third project of Christmas. We're going to go ahead and see who's coming on here. I think I have a really good project that you're going to like tonight. Let's get this up so I can see your comments. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Cynthia. Hope everybody had a good last 2 days since I didn't see you yesterday. I had a good day. And of course I did, hello Jennifer, thank you for sharing. I did exactly what I did on Tuesday, where I have the project, I have a bunch of projects already pre-made up. And then at the last minute today, I decided to throw together the project that we're doing tonight. So, it's a project that we might all need this holiday season. And of course, you can revamp this for any occasion that you might need to give a gift card or perhaps a check or some cash. Just cleaning off my bone folder because when I was prepping today, I put down some paper before I should have, and I used my bone folder to get it back up without it ripping. So now it's all sticky. So all I'm doing on that is I'm just taking my an alcohol wipe, just a little square that I buy in boxes of 100 or 200, and I'm just taking that alcohol wipe and I'm giving my bone folder a good clean. So just a tip there for you. If you get some sticky stuff on the edges of your scissors or your bone folder, that's a good way to clean it. That will also clean off ink from your bone folder as well. All right. Hello, Mary. Hello, Laura. So glad you guys could join. So tonight we're going to be using the Snowman Season stamp set. This is in the annual catalog. It's been carried over a couple of times. I love this stamp set because I love snowmen. And this guy is just the cutest. And this also has a coordinating snowman builder punch that you can get, so you can make the snowman and stamp him and then cut out all of his pieces. So that's an option. We aren't using the snowman builder punch tonight because it coordinates with this image, and we'll be using these two images as well as this. All right, so we've got that. In addition to that, we're going to be using the gingerbread and peppermint designer series paper. We're going to be using this pattern, but I did want to show you these patterns. This is a pack of 6x6, comes with 48 sheets. You get 12 double-sided designs, 2 of each. All right, so that's what we have there. And I'm also going to be using, because the sentiments in the Snowman Season stamp set are a little large for the front of our card, I'm going to be using the For You, which is out of the Sweet Little Stockings. Now you can use whatever sentiment you want. This is on the last chance list. And the coordinating dies that go along with this, the stockings dies, these are currently 15% off. So if you were wanting to get this bundle, you would want to make sure that you ordered the stamp set and the dies separately, because you would get a lot bigger savings than the bundle price. Okay. Now, we've got our piece of designer series paper, and I've left this whole. I want to show you how I'm going to cut that. We have a piece of basic white, and this piece of basic white is cut at 4 by 10.5. We have another piece of basic white, and this one we're going to use for the stamping, and this is cut at 2 5/8 by 2 7/8. And then I have a whole sheet of the real red cardstock. We're not going to use the entire thing, but I do want to show you how to cut this project. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what we're making. I've changed the DSP just a little bit. So this is what we're going to make. And this opens up and a little gift bag, mini gift bag, pops up when you open it up. Okay. So if you have need of a little gift card holder, this will be the perfect project for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. And we need a piece of real red that is cut at 5.5 by 9. So we're going to cut this first on the long side at 5.5. Okay. And then we're going to cut this at 9. So now my paper is 11 and I need 9, so I'm too lazy to open up my arm, so I'm just going to cut this at 2 inches. If I cut it at 2 inches, then I'll have 9 inches left. So now I have a 5.5 by 9 inch piece. I also need, from this scrap piece, I'm going to take, and I'm going to cut myself a piece that is 3 inches, which this is exactly 3 inches. And I'm going to cut the other side by 2 3/4. Okay. So those are our pieces. And we can set the rest of this aside for another project. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my Simply Scored. And I'm going to score my card base along the 9-inch side. Let me see if I can get that in. There we go. Along the 9-inch side. And I'm going to score that at 3 1/4. And again at 7 1/2. Okay. Then I'm going to take my piece of basic white. Now, I got the card base from Rachel Tessman, and she actually used copy paper, but I think copy paper will be too thin, so I'm using the basic white, just the regular thin basic white. So we're going to score this along the 10.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, 5, 5.5, 6, and 10. So again, those measurements are 1/2, 1 inch, 5, 5.5, 6, and 10. Okay? Now, we are going to, first of all, we're going to take our card base and we're going to fold on those score lines and give those a good burnish. So we're going to fold this one in and we're going to fold this one in. Okay. Oh, I forgot to cut the designer series paper. So if you have a directional pattern, you want your designer series paper to be in the portrait mode, meaning that your shorter measurement will be at the top and the longer measurement will be at the bottom. I want this particular paper to lay just like this. And I'm showing you how to cut this because of the way that we are going to fold this card up. We want to make sure that the piece on the left and the piece on the right will look continuous. So it's important that we keep our pieces in a certain order when we cut them, so we know how to put them back together. Okay, so I want my pattern to be up like this. So I'm going to turn it this way and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. Okay. Then I'm going to cut at 3 inches because I need a piece that is 3 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to set this aside. And then I need 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut at 1 1/4 here. And then I'm going to make sure that I set this piece with my 3-inch piece here because I need these to go right next to each other. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside. And then I'm going to cut my other 1 1/4 inch piece. And then I'll have this little strip left, which I didn't use. So I'm going to put this off to the right, and we're going to use this right away. That way we won't get confused. I'm going to bring back in our card base. And we're going to add this to the inside flap. Okay. And you can use whatever adhesive you prefer. Okay, this one's going to give me fits today. So let's go ahead. Let's get our Stampin' seal here. All right. And then I'll just add this to the inside of flap of my card. Okay. I think I forgot to cut my other piece of basic white. Hang on, I have to have one more piece of basic white for the inside. And I'm going to cut this piece at 3 3/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut it at 3 3/8, and I'm going to hope that this is the right measurement because this is a measurement I'm making up on my own. And I'm going to hope that works. So I want this to go in here like so and still leave a little bit of room there for my gift bag. And I think that will just about work. So I'm going to go ahead and when I put this in here, well, let's stamp on it first and then I'll show you how I'm going to put it in there. So I'm going to take the little snowman who looks like he's juggling, and I'm going to add this. Let me ink it upside down. I'm going to add this in the lower right corner, like so. And then I'm going to grab my my Real Red ink, and I'm going to take the sentiment from Snowman Season that says, "Hoping this season builds heartwarming memories." Stamp that right there. All right. So that is the inside of our card. Now, I'm going to take it just very quickly. There isn't much coloring to this little guy. So we're going to use some light gray granite and some light pool party. And then I'm going to use my color lifter. I'm going to use pool party for my snowflakes here. And then I'm going to take the light gray granite. And I'm just going to give him a little bit of shadow. And that will also give him dimension because it won't make it look like we totally forgot to color him. Okay, so we do that. We need a little bit of light petal pink for his little cheeks here. And then I'm going to take the color lifter and I'm going to go back over that light gray granite. And I'm just going to blend that out so it doesn't have quite the harsh lines. All right. And then we got to have a carrot nose, so we need a light pumpkin pie. Now you could shade it dark at the base and then blend it up. But we're just going to be happy with this as it is. Okay. Hello, Elaine. So glad you could join us tonight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add this to the inside of our card. And I'm going to line this up so that 3 sides are even, have an even border. Okay, that looks good to me. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a magnet because that's how we're going to close up our card. So we're going to put a magnet in the center of this flap here on the front. And I'm going to take a little bit of tear and tape. And I'm just going to set this down in the center. Okay, about the center, like so. I'm going to take one of these real teeny tiny magnets. You can get these on Amazon. I actually had ordered mine a long time ago. And mine actually came from England. But, okay, so we're just going to take this and we're just going to set it down here. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. And I'm just going to give that a press. Okay, now that I have that on, now I can take my piece of designer series paper and I can add that to my card front. Oh no. Did I really just run out of adhesive? I hope not. Oh, there we go. I want to put a little bit of extra adhesive in that center. Just go over that magnet. And just going to put that down. to give that a good press. Okay. So now we have the makings of our card. Okay, so we've got all that done. Now we can go ahead and add this to the front of our card. And remember, we have that so that those should line right up. Okay, so we're going to put this down. Center that up. All right. So there is a good start on our card at this point. All right. Now, we're going to take that piece. Well, let's make our gift bag and get that in first. Okay? So we're going to set this aside. And let me put these so they don't roll away from me. I can find them easily. For our gift bag, we need that 4x10 piece. Oops, you know what I forgot on this 4x10? Oh my goodness, you guys, I forgot some important scores. We have to take and score this on the short side at 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Okay? So 1/2 inch, rotate 180 and score at 1 inch. Okay? Right, then we're going to take our paper snips. And going to snip up here. I'm going to snip along this center here to the right of that score mark. I'm going to snip to the left on the second score mark. I'm leaving the one between these two. I'm leaving that one alone. Okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to snip to the left of this score line up to the horizontal. I'm going to skip the next small score mark, and I'm going to snip to the left of this one. Okay? So you'll have tabs. All right? And then we're going to remove this corner, this corner. We don't need those. I should have made myself a template, and I didn't. So I'm hoping that I'm doing this correctly. And we're going to remove these two sections. On this entire section here, the two small scores. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to do it from the back side. And I'm going to remove those little sections there. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to burnish. Ooh, need to make sure I get those straight. Burnish on those score lines. This score line here, I'm going to fold backwards, opposite. Okay, so that I have something that looks like that. All right, and then I'm going to fold on this one. I'm folding in, and this one I'm going to fold back. All right, now I need to remove this section and this section. So I'm going to get those burnished and out of the way. I'm going to cut this off. And burnish this section and this section. Get those out of my way. And then I'm going to snip this off. All right. So this is what you should have left. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do a little stamping along here. This is going to be the top, and this is going to be the bottom. So we're going to stamp right along this score line. And for that, I'm going to take the little snowflake and some pool party. And I'm going to start at the middle score. And then I'm just going to randomly stamp, rotating. And just in case I go off, grab a piece, scrap. Okay. Now I'm going to repeat that over here. And I did that because I want to make sure that I have a good cohesive line right there in the center. Okay, so that's the stamping on our gift bag. All right, so next we're going to fold this until we have these met up. I want to meet this section and this section so that, and you can fold these in if you wish to, so that you have this. And then I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. Right? And I'm going to grab my ruler. And what I have left here when I fold that all in is 4 inches. Now remember, we've got our side inches here. So 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here. We're going to put our we're going to make some holes for our handles. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to come down about 1/4 inch. I've got 4 inches to work with here. So you can see that. About 4 inches. Doesn't have to be exact, but about 1/2 inch down I'm going. Okay. And then I'm going to take my pokey tool, the pointer pokey part of my take your pick, and I'm going to put a hole clear through those sections at 1.5 and 2.5. And those are going to make the handles of our gift bag. So now I poked through on this side, on the front side for this, but on the back side now I've got these holes poking out. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and I'm just going to poke those the other direction. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to take 2 pieces of these. Well, that's not going to be long enough, is it? Yeah, about 3 inches each of the Simply Elegant trim. And I'm going to go from the front side and I'm going to poke that through each hole, just like that. And then I'm going to check my length to see if that's, you know what, I might want to go a little bit taller. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's see how it looks. Now I'm going to take a piece of tear and tape. And I'm going to run this tear and tape right along the bottom of those holes. Actually, I'm just going to take that out. I'm going to run my tear and tape first, because I found that to be easier. Just going to run that tear and tape right there. And on the other piece, right underneath those holes. Okay. And I'm going to burnish that down well. Okay. Then I'm going to thread this through. From the front to the back. And then I'm going to pull it up. I want those ends to be even. And they need to be down on this side, the length to the bottom of the tear tape. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. It's a little fiddly, but it can be done. And then I'm just going to set that right down in that tear and tape. And this piece decided to pull itself back out. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay? So then this will be my handles. All right. You could make longer handles if you wanted. Strictly up to you. So again, I'm going to remove that tear tape, release paper. I'm going to poke my handle through, front to back. And I need to try and get this set just like I did the other side so that my handles will be even on both sides. Okay, so now I've got that. All right, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to add some tear tape right along here. Again, right over the top of what I already have, and I'm going to go from about the score line over on the left, right across the top of that Simply Elegant trim. I'm going to go right to the, almost to the score line there. And then I'm going to repeat that on this side, right over the top of the other tear tape. And we've got that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that down really nicely. All right. Now while we got the tear tape out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add tear tape to this piece and to this piece. And I'm going to put that tear tape in just about the middle. On these two pieces. I like to use my ruler as a straight edge to rip that up. But you can rip it with your fingernail, or you can use scissors, whatever you prefer. Okay. And now, once we get that done, this will fold in. And we're going to fold this over to meet this. So on the back side of this tab, we're going to put some tear tape. And we want that to go right up to the score line. Did I do that right? Okay, well, we'll see here in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of the first pieces that I put on along over the top of our Simply Elegant trim. I'm going to pull that off, and then I'm going to put that down right over the top. I'm going to give that a good burnish. And now you can't see that Simply Elegant trim from the inside. It's sandwiched in between that, and we have a nice finish edge at the top of our gift bag. All right. So with this one now, I found I'm going to trim this just a tiny bit. Just taking a hair off. That way it will fold a little more smoothly and won't get stuck in the fold line of this piece. So I'm going to remove the backing from my tear and tape here. And I'm going to fold this flat on the second score line. And then I'm going to just lay this down and line up the top and the bottom. Lay that flat. And that should fit perfectly. And now we have our gift bag. Okay? This is now ready to insert into our card. All right. So to put that in our card, we're going to remove the backing. It doesn't matter which side you do first, but I'm going to start with this. And this is going to go right up next to the score line. Not over, but right next to. So I'm going to remove the backing from that tear tape. Okay. And I'm going to center that top to bottom. Right up next to that score line. And then I'm going to fold my card front over, and I'm going to burnish that. And then I'm going to remove the backing from the opposite side. And I'm going to fold that right over the top of that. Now everything is lined up perfectly, and when we open our card, our gift bag pops up. What do you think of that? Thanks, Tracy. All right, so now all we have left is to finish the front of our card. Okay? So we're going to take our piece of basic white that is 2 5/8 by 2 7/8, and I'm going to take this little snowman here with some Memento ink. You could actually do this in basic gray if you'd like. Let me move this out of the way so I can better see where my borders are. I'm just going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to take the For You that I took from the Sweet Little Stockings. And I'm going to take a little bit of real, well, you know what? I think I'm going to use the Old Olive for the outside. No, never mind. I'm going to use the Real Red. And I'm going to stamp that For You right up here in the corner. See if I can get this down a little closer to me. Okay, so now I've got that. And then I'm going to bring back in my Stampin' blends. And I'm going to do just a little bit of coloring. One of the things I really like about this snowman is he turns out really cute, and you don't really have to color a ton. So I'm going to start with my light Real Red. And I'm going to color in these little stripes on his hat and his scarf. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with the light Old Olive, and I'm going to fill in the rest of those. Okay, and what did I do with that light pumpkin pie? Well, let's grab the dark pumpkin pie because I'm not sure where I set the light one. Amazing how it disappeared so quickly. And I'll color in his nose. I'm going to take the dark Old Olive and I'm going to just color over the top of this little Charlie Brown tree. Just to give it a little bit of added dimension, a little bit of color. Again, I'm going to take the light gray granite. What did I do with those? There they are. Okay, woo! The light gray granite. And I'm going to color in just a tiny bit of a shadow on his body just to give him a little dimension. A little bit on the ground. And those little piles of snow. All right. And then I'm going to go back with that color lifter And I'm going to blend that in just a little bit. I don't want to blend too much. If you blend too much, you can make your memento run with the color lifter. So you want to be a little bit cautious. Try not to go over the memento too much. All right. Now, I'm going to take that light petal pink. I'll put it right there on that one cheek. And I think, oh, we need to fill in our hat. Huh, almost forgot that tip of the hat. I'm going to use red. I'm starting with the light. You could stop there and not do any blending at all, but I'm going to add just a touch of the dark real red right around there. And because it's so small, I'm not even going to blend that in. And then I'm going to go back with the dark real red. And I'm going to put a little bit over his pom-pom here. Okay. So there's our little snowman. And of course, what snow would be complete without a little bit of Wink of Stella. Just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. Okay. Oh, I forgot to color those little snow pieces. We're going to do that with the pool party. Just daubing. And of course then I can go back a little bit of Wink of Stella. And there is our little snowman. Okay. Now we're going to take this piece of a basic, or of real red, and this is going to go right here on our card. Okay? But we only want to put adhesive along the edge that's going to sit here. So just a small amount. And we're going to leave this free. I'm going to get some Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to set this down without it getting all over my fingers. I need to be able to see how. Okay, and I'm going to just set this in here. Like so. That looks good. Let's make sure we don't have any adhesive hanging over. And I'm going to give that a very good burnish. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my magnets again. So I need that second magnet. And what the magnets are going to do is they're going to hold my card closed so it doesn't look like this. Okay, now remember we put the magnet down here, so I'm going to take and close that up. And I'm just going to drop the magnet. And it's going to sit where it needs to sit. Then I'm going to take a piece of tear tape. Whoops, sorry. I knocked ya. And I'm just going to put that right over the top of my magnet. Just to hold it there. Going to put some Stampin' Seal on the back of my snowman. Going to peel off the tear and tape backing. And I'm going to center this up. Just like that. Give it a good burnish. Now you can't see my magnets. They'll hold my card closed. And that is our finished project. I hope you liked that tonight. Here is my first one. When I made this one a little bit bigger so that I could get a sentiment on there, because after I got this one stamped, I went, oh, I really don't have room for a sentiment. So I made my dimensions just a little bit bigger. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that project. And I am going to try to be back tomorrow night at 7:45 with another project for the 12 projects of Christmas. We are going after our Christmas tree tomorrow afternoon, so hopefully I'll be able to fit it all in. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for all the wonderfully nice comments that you've made. I appreciate them. I appreciate you all. Until next time, hopefully tomorrow night at 7:45. Have a good day. See you later. Good night.